Hey everyone, Mary Pat here, and today I'm making a quick card, and I'm going to start off with my Coordinations 110-pound smooth cardstock, which is, one of my favorites. And I've already cut it down to the 4 1/4 and by 11, and I'm just going to score it now so that I know where the 5.5 inch mark is for when I do some stamping on it. This is going to be a 1-layer card and very clean and simple. I'm using this Hero Arts stamp that is a cling rubber stamp, and I've had it forever, and I thought I would give it a try. I haven't used it in a really long time. So I'm inking it up with my Memento Tuxedo black ink, and when I have these cling stamps, I just kind of put them on. I don't use an acrylic block or a press or anything because it's just as easy just to put those on. And you just press firmly and evenly on that, and then the trick is just to make sure that you're lifting it up with that clean and simple, and it came out pretty good. So I'm going to be coloring these with my Spectrum Noir, and I've got PP4, 5, and 6, and so I'm going to be starting. I like to put just a layer down of my lightest color, and so I'm using the chisel nib, and I am because the flower is so big, I want to cover a lot of the surface quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color pretty much half of it, and so that the alcohol ink doesn't dry. So with the PP4, I'm just putting down a quick layer with that, and I'm covering about half of the flower. And then I'm going to go in with my darkest shade, the PP6, and I'm going to go around the edges there and put in a nice layer. And again, this will be the darkest color in the flower with the petals. And I'm just going along the natural lines of the stamp. And so I'm just putting in a nice layer going all the way around. And that's a pretty good view of how you can see how the dark layer is. And again, I'm just working on half of the flower so that my alcohol ink doesn't dry, because then you won't get a great blending. Now I'm going to go in now with my medium tone, the number 5, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right up against where I put the darkest layer, and I'm just going to try to pull some of that color out and pull it into the petals of the flower and try to get that. So I'm going up against each and every line and then trying to drag that color out, and you can kind of see how it's working. You can see the 3 little layers with the lightest, the medium, and then the darkest. And now I'm going to go back in with my lightest color, and now I just kind of want to smooth over those and try to blend them all nicely now, and so that it looks fantastic. And so the nice thing about this stamp is that it already has those great lines in the petals so that you're doing that. So again, I'm just quickly going over them and blending them all together. And now I'm picking up my number 6 again, and I just kind of want to put in a little bit more of the darker color, and I'm just adding those quickly. I'm kind of flicking the color from the center out and up through the petal there. And now I'm going back with my middle tone, and again I'm just going right up against to where I had that and kind of pulling some of the color out and making that great. I'm going to go back with my lighter now again, and I'm just going to, again, just kind of go up against those lines and just kind of blend them out into the petals. And you can see on the back there that the cardstock is very saturated, so that means that it's going to blend really well. Now it's time to go back and work on the last half. And again, I kind of, when you have something that big, it's nice to do halves. Now you can see here my stamping, the ink didn't come out perfectly. And I'm going to give you a little tip. In fact, so I'm just going to kind of go up against there and kind of like with the marker kind of draw in where the petal would be. And here like the petal didn't even come out there. And so I'm just kind of going in, figuring that's where it would be and coloring that in. Now I'm going back with my darkest shade, and again I'm going through the lines that are naturally there and going around. Next I'm going with my middle shade again, my PP5, and I'm pulling that color out again. I'm going right up against it and pulling it in to the center, working that. Going back with my lightest shade, my PP4, and again just blending all the colors together. And you can see I'm a pretty fast colorer, and I'm not very exact, but that's just kind of how I do it. And going back in through with PP6, or I'm sorry, PP6. Sorry about that. And just kind of adding a little bit more definition into the petals around the darkest parts, and going in now, blending it out a little bit with my PP5. It's looking pretty good, and now I want to work on the center. And I want my center to be kind of have like a little pop. And so I'm going in with my BP3, so a different family there with the BPs. And now I'm going in with BP5 and just adding a little bit more shading in there, just so that that center really pops. Okay, it looks really good. And now I still have to come back to this little area that I was talking about that the stamp didn't come through. And I take just my Signo pen, gel pen, and I just draw in the lines on where the stamp would have been if I would have stamped it correctly. Because a lot of times you don't want to have to go back and re-stamp it all. And so this is just as easy to go in. I actually took a class several years ago from Jennifer McGuire, and she gave us that tip, and so it works out perfect. And now you can see, you can't even tell where I didn't have that. Now I'm going with my Hero Arts Sentiment Collection, and I'm going to pull out this long title, and that's kind of why I had my flower off to the center and off to the left a little bit, and centering it up on my acrylic block. And I'm going to use my Hero Arts ink, and again that's one of my faves, and I'm going to ink that up. And then I'm going to line that up at the bottom. And that looks really good. And if you know me, and if you followed any of my videos or blog, you'll know that I love to add pearls. And I've got some of these pink Hero Arts pearls. And I'm just going to, I've got 3 of the same color, and I'm just going to kind of randomly place them around my flower. And there you have it. A really awesome card, clean and simple. Thank Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll be back again soon with a new video, and you can always stop by my blog. Thanks a lot. Bye.